We lie to ourselves about money. Every single day, we think it's about math. But it's not. It's about feelings, mostly fear and ego. I'm 35, and I spent my 20s chasing ghosts. I thought hitting a certain number in my bank account would magically fix my anxiety. That's the first big myth. The idea that more money equals peace of mind. It doesn't. If you're an anxious person broke, you'll be an anxious person with $1,000,000. You'll just be terrified of losing it. It's human nature. Now, before we get too deep, I gotta say this. I'm just a guy sharing my own lessons. This isn't professional financial advice. It's for your own education and maybe your sanity. So, let's talk about the second lie we swallow whole. The belief that hoarding cash in a mattress or a basic savings account is the ultimate safety net. Your brain loves certainty. Seeing that number sit there feels good. But inflation is a quiet thief. It steals your purchasing power while you sleep. You feel safe, but you're actually bleeding out slowly. Our minds can't process invisible threats well. We react to a bear in the woods, not a 2% drop in currency value. That's why the safety myth is so dangerous. It weaponizes our natural instinct for security and turns it against our future selves. We crave comfort today, even if it costs us dearly tomorrow. Let's move to myth number 3. Your house is your best investment. Man, this one gets people riled up. Society drills this into our heads from day one. Buy a house, settle down, build wealth. But psychologically, a house is a massive emotional anchor. We pour our identities into our homes. We buy way more space than we need, just to impress people we barely know. We ignore the taxes, the maintenance, the interest, because owning a home feels like making it. It feeds our ego and quiets our insecurity. But financially, it ties up all your liquidity. It traps you in one place. It's forced savings, sure, but it's an emotional purchase, not a pure investment. Then there's myth number 4. The idea that strict budgeting is the only way. I used to track every single penny. I felt like a warden in my own financial prison. Here's the truth about your brain on a strict budget. It reacts the exact same way it does to a crash diet. You restrict, you restrict, you restrict, and then you binge. You deprive yourself of a $4 coffee, and a month later, you buy a car you don't need. Because willpower is a finite resource. When you squeeze the joy out of your daily life, your subconscious rebels. It demands a reward for all that suffering. Budgets shouldn't be straitjackets. They should be roadmaps for your values. Spend on what actually brings you joy. Which brings us to the 5th lie. All debt is pure evil. I grew up hearing this one all the time. Cut up the credit cards. Pay for everything in cold hard cash. And yeah, high-interest consumer debt is a trap. It's a cycle that feeds on instant gratification. We buy things to soothe our daily stress. We swipe the card, get a hit of dopamine, and deal with the pain later. But labeling all debt as evil is just lazy thinking. It's our brain taking a complex concept and making it black and white. Because nuance takes mental energy. Leverage, when used by a disciplined mind, is just a tool to build assets. But we fear debt because it feels like a predator. It triggers our primal fear of being trapped. Now, let's tackle myth number 6. This is the big one. The belief that we are rational actors. We honestly think we make choices based on logic. We pull up spreadsheets, we read articles. But behavioral economics tells a completely different story. We make decisions with our emotions, and then we use logic to justify them later. You didn't buy that expensive watch to tell time. You bought it to signal your status to the tribe. You didn't sell your stocks because the fundamentals changed. You sold because the red lines on the screen triggered a panic response in your amygdala. You felt the pain of loss, and your brain screamed at you to run. That brings me to the 7th and final myth. I call it the someday fallacy. I'll start investing when I make more money. I'll get serious about my finances next year. This is a classic trick our minds play on us. It's called temporal discounting. Our brains literally view our future selves as completely different people. Think about that for a second. When you picture yourself 20 years from now, your brain treats that image like a stranger. And why would you sacrifice your comfort today for some old stranger you haven't even met? It's a massive evolutionary flaw in the modern world. We are hardwired to survive the next 24 hours, not to plan for a retirement 3 decades away. So we push the hard work onto future you. We assume future you will be richer, smarter, and have way more discipline. But here is the cold hard reality. Future you is just present you. but older, and probably more tired. If you don't have the discipline to manage $1,000, you won't magically manage 100,000. The habits you build today are the exact same habits you will have tomorrow. You have to bridge that psychological gap. You have to start caring about the person you will become. Because time is the only asset you can never buy back. And the clock is always ticking. So where does all this leave us? It leaves us with a choice. We can keep sleepwalking through our financial lives. We can let fear, ego, and dopamine run the show. Or we can wake up and face the music. Money isn't just paper or numbers on a screen. It's a mirror. It reflects our deepest insecurities and our highest hopes. When you finally understand the psychology behind your wallet, you stop fighting the math and you start managing your mind. That's when the real game begins. You stop reacting to every market dip like it's a threat. You stop buying things you don't even want, just to fill a void that can't be filled with stuff. You take back control from your own subconscious. It's not easy. I struggle with it every single day. But awareness is the very first step to freedom. And that's what this is all really about. Freedom, not just from debt, but from your own blind spots. I'd love to hear which of these myths hit home for you. Drop a comment down below and let's talk about it. If this resonated with you today, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps the channel out more than you know. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives. We've got a lot more to unpack together. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one.